Alrighty, people. What's up? How we dern? How we dern? We've got a great stream for you as we head into Monday Night Football. Big old
Come on,
game. Chiefs, Commanders. Honestly,
Chiefs
um,
Commanders.
sorry, Chiefs, Bucks. This would have been a
Mhm.
really good game if the Bucks were healthy. Like, I would have been really excited to watch this, if they had Mike Evans and Godwin and they were still on that streak. That hot streak they were on. But it's a little
Sure.
unfortunate that that most of the Bucks team is injured. I mean, even their backup receivers are injured. Like, McMillan's not going to go tonight. I know the Bucks running backs are a little bit banged up, but they're going to play. So it's a little bit frustrating, but it'll still be a good game. Do you have anything on the line in the Flock League?
Yeah, I'm most likely lost in the flock league, but I had the Chiefs defense. I'm up by about 2, 3 points, but he is playing Kate Alton and Kareem Hunt. The only thing I can think of is a defensive defense. Give me up early. Give me just that little bit of a buffer. Maybe Kate Alton scores 10 points. Kareem Hunt gets it to the end zone. But Bucks defense has been pretty decent against the run, so that's what I'm really hoping for. But looks like I am going to lose. But apparently, weather's on my side.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, I've got a pretty good lead here, about 23 points, and I don't have anybody left to play. But Bush has Travis Kelce, so this will be weird because I want the Chiefs to win, but I don't want Travis Kelce to have a game. Like, it's all right, dude.
Yeah,
You know what? You can honestly go for 7 catches for 70 yards. That's cool. Just not a tutty, please. Just no touchdown
that's
today.
not honestly.
Just
That's how I
chill
feel
out.
about That's how I feel about Kareem. Like have 20 touches, but like please don't get into the end zone, which
Yeah, exactly.
it's highly doubtful.
You know what? Let's make this a Noah Gray day. All right, let's make this a
Yeah,
Noah Gray day.
please.
Um, appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hey, we are gonna answer questions through the website first before we get to any questions in the chat. Now, if you haven't tried out the website, definitely go give it a try. It's the pinned comment. I also just put it in the chat again, and definitely sign up for a free account before you ask a question. If you use a promo code LAND at sign up, I just put a direct link in the chat. You can get a lot of free features. For example, like the My Team feature. As long as you have a Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo League, you can kind of
Yeah.
see where we would rank your, I guess your league amongst each other. Expert consensus rankings, a trade calculator, all that kind of stuff. But hey, there's a little bit of a glitch that our devs are working on right now, and our devs are great. They're constantly working and making the site better. But one of those glitches was super messages weren't showing up when we were offline. So Michelin Man here donated a super chat. I wasn't able to answer it. So what I want to do is I want to give him a free start sit voucher. So he can come back and use that here in the future. So I just gave him a voucher. He'll see this hopefully, and now he knows that he's got that free start sit question for this week.
Yeah, thank you,
As
Mama.
a thank you from us, and we'll have that little glitch fixed very, very soon. All right, we have a trade question from Hellboy Jordan. Says, need the
Hellboy.
upgrade at tight end. Starters are Lamar, Neighbors, Moore, CMC, Brees, Hawk, and the flex is Waddle to get Thielen. Do I upgrade at wide receiver instead? So, right now he's looking in a 12-team start 7 to send Rachaad White and Dalton Kincaid and to receive back Brock Bowers. His running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Brees Hall. I'm curious who his other running backs are, and we can actually see that here.
Yeah,
He's
Chris
got
McCaffrey,
Madison,
Brees Hall, Mason. Yeah,
Pacheco, Mixon, or is this that's the other team? Sorry,
that's the other
He's
team.
got
Yeah.
he's got CMC, Brees Hall, Mason, and that's pretty much it.
Look, I mean, I'm not saying Brock Bowers is going to take a step back, but with Luke Getzky getting fired, that was a big reason why Cole Kmet was kind of successful with the Bears. Not saying this is the reason why Brock Bowers is successful now, but I think it does have a little to play a part with. I'm not saying I would do this trade. I'm just saying you already have TJ Hawkinson, you have Dalton Kincaid. I would just keep Rachaad White because I know we just got reports that Chris McCaffrey is going to be coming back. I don't know. That's kind of. I think this is an even trade. So I don't actually believe that you need to do this trade, but it does help your team. But once again, there's a lot of different things that could potentially be changing with the Raiders offense moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still leaning on the, like, Dalton Kincaid is borderline unstartable. That's the problem with Kincaid. Now, he does have Hawkinson.
That's why I'm okay with it, because the way we saw Hawkinson come into week 1, and it's only going to grow, right? Caught 3 out of 4 targets, only saw 45% in the snap share. I expect that in 2 to 3 weeks to at least be 80%, and obviously, hopefully, a bigger workload.
Yeah,
that's
overall,
kind of
I just feel like you kind of want to keep Rachaad White because, all right, so if CMC goes down, you have Mason. If Breece goes down, you have Braylon. But I kind of feel like right now the offense is built around those running backs. Look, overall, it's a pretty fair deal. I'm wondering, can they send you Madison back? I might do this if they send you Madison back.
Alexander Madison, right?
Yeah, I think if they send Madison back, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll hold, and like Badaki said, just see what Hawkinson becomes over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, your trade deadline isn't like early, like right now. You've still got a couple weeks to really figure this thing out. But yeah, I think I would hold for now unless they can just send you back Madison in the deal. Then I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, appreciate you though, Jordan.
Yes.
Our next trade question here is from Freddie D.
That says it failed to go through, so let me just restart here.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'll let you take it over if it does work.
Okay, so if he's watching this, just know we just answered your question. Just scroll back a bit in the video. All right, here we go.
Yeah, 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8, and no context here, but he is sending away James Cook, Malik Nabers, and Amari Cooper, and receiving Joe Mixon and Cooper Kupp in a start 8. Yeah, give me that as well. Joe Moneybags has been phenomenal in Cooper Kupp. I mean, it's crazy what Matthew Stafford can do when both of his top receivers are back on the field. Really.
Well, they weren't to this week though, but yeah, I definitely agree.
You get what you're saying. Get what I'm saying. But yes, I want Cooper Kupp and Joe Mixon here.
So, would you rather have Joe Mixon or CMC rest of season? Because I've been thinking about this a lot.
I want Joe Mixon. There's no question. I want Joe Mixon.
Yeah. How about
CMC's going to take a while to come back, I think.
Really? I think if he plays, I think he's going to be the guy from day one.
I'm a little bit more on the side like, okay, he is going to be back, but is it instantly going to be the 80% workload, or is it going to be, okay, this week, maybe he gets 40 to 55% because they want to ease him in. They don't want him to re-injure that or whatever. They really want to see how he goes and then work him in. I think maybe by the time the playoffs comes, you'll probably be more comfortable starting him, but going into the next 2 to 3 weeks, I would be a little bit more, look, you have to start him, but it's like, you know.
How about Joe Mixon or Devon Achane?
I think that's a wash.
Yeah, so he's really like top 3 to 4 range, because right now I have Henry 1, Saquon 2, Achane 3, and Henry 4, but I feel like 3 and 4 is kind of on the same. So, but yeah, I guess I do see the CMC situation just slightly differently. I just feel like they've already held him out so long. They've been so cautious that if they put him on the field, I think they're going to let him be the guy again, but we'll wait and see.
Sure.
Regardless, Mixon and Kupp is a clear answer for me.
That's who you want. Yeah, no question. No question. Thank you so much there, Freddie. We appreciate you. Pete Pav.
Yes,
26.
we gave them a voucher, I believe, last week, and obviously they're back here, which is great. So they're going to send away Connor and Reed and get Joe Mixon back in a 10-team start 7. What does the rest of their team look like here? So they would have Hurts, they would have Bigsby, Bucky, Henry, Mixon, obviously. So Henry and Mixon, so they would look kind of like my flock league. Henry, Mixon, CD, Higgins, Tillman, Downs. I don't think your wide receiver room is strong enough to do this.
No, I don't think so either. And look, CeeDee Lamb is obviously dealing with that injury. There's no Dak Prescott anymore. T. Higgins is dealing with that injury. Obviously, Nico Collins is going to come back. What is Tank Dell going to look like? Or maybe that helps Tank Dell. I don't think you have enough wide receiver room to do that. If anything, like, can I send Jaden Reed, get Joe Mixon? Or can I send James Conner and Jaden Reed and, get like a Lad McConkey back? Like, can I throw something his way?
Yeah, well, ladder Jordan Addison would make sense if you can
Yeah.
get one of those back in return.
Like
So that would be our counters.
Yeah, I don't know. You can sweeten it, even though it's not really sweet, with like a Tanks Bigsby or
And
something.
I think, by the way, just to clarify, you and I are very high on Jaden Reed rest of season. Love his playoff schedule. And
Yeah.
we were kind of standing by his side, even though everyone kept saying Romeo Dobbs was a wide receiver one and that Reed was done. This most recent game, it's only one game, so we can't really take too much from it. But he was back to like that high yardage type of play, 16 points, 113 yards. Remember, in the playoffs, guys, he has Seattle, Saints, and the Vikings, which it doesn't get much better than that. So yeah, I think those are a couple counters there that could make a lot of sense. If you can get Addison or McConkey back in the deal, Mike Badaki said you can throw him a Bigsby if that puts it over the line, or not Downs or Tillman. I mean, those guys look like league winners at the moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tyler Algier. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We do have another question through the site. Again, guys, if you want to prioritize your question on today's stream, we'll try to get to everybody's questions, but the best way to do that is through the website. There's a pin link in the comment section. I also just put it in there for you now. But shout out to Daniel007. He says, please send good juju vibes for Kareem Hunt. Well,
No. There's no good juju from me here.
Funnily
Not
enough, Badaki actually needs Kareem Hunt not to do well in the Flock League. So he has the Chiefs defense, and he's facing someone who has K. Dotton and Kareem Hunt. I'll be honest, Badaki, I think it's
yeah,
over.
it's shocked. It's shocked. It's done.
But I
still
obviously want you to win. But I actually need Kareem Hunt to perform for my home league, our home one quarterback league. I'm 4-4, and I just need about 8 points from him. I just need 8 points, and we'll be Gucci. So I'm there with you, Daniel. But it is raining. That does help Kareem Hunt, I think.
90% chance of rain, which, yes, it kind of does help Kareem Hunt, which is annoying. No rushing touchdowns. Or if it is a rushing touchdowns, just a goal line one, and I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. Daniel with another super message here. Or it came up twice. It looks like the same super message, but it came up twice. So we appreciate you, Daniel. Thanks for the love and the support. Okay, this is cool. Now we can show like this new leaderboard or whatever it is. I think
which is awesome.
I think it tracks the week and the month. So this is November. This is November top 10.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Gotcha. And then is this weekly? Yeah. Anyway, it's cool. All right, let's go to the YouTube chat. We appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I think we can get there. And we have a super chat here on YouTube from Michael. And he says, like button hit. Love it. He says in a, I think this is
full
fantasy
PPR
point
maybe?
per carry.
Okay.
I think this is fantasy point per carry.
Taylor Swift is in the building. Maybe clarify if you're still with us, Michael. Should I sit Murray and Marlon Harrison or Darnold in either DJ Moore or Elijah Moore?
Okay, right.
Basically,
Look,
2 questions there.
The reality is Marvin's going to be one of those players where if you sit him, you're going to regret it. And if you start him, it might not work out. I mean, you can literally see that throughout the entire course of this season. He faces the Jets, and it's a bit interesting this week because the Jets are technically a good matchup, but they keep giving up points to wide receivers, you know? Tank Dell just had a game against them, and he was the only player they had to shut down. We've seen George Pickens have a game against them in week 7. It's like very confusing right now to watch the Jets defense. I feel like Robert Saleh, they're kind of missing him defensively.
I think so as well.
I would still start Marvin Harrison, but between him and DJ Moore, let me just double check my rankings for this week. So DJ Moore, I have at 24. I've got Marv higher than that. So I would still go Marv. I need to remind myself. The Bears play the Patriots, and the Cardinals play the Jets. Yeah, so I'm still going to go Marv, but honestly, I feel less optimistic about DJ Moore than I do Marvin Harrison.
That's what I was going to say. Like, DJ Moore already 3 back-to-back games where it just hasn't been where we wanted it to be. And I think what's more enticing about Marvin Harrison Jr. is that he's really the only target in that offense.
Outside of
obviously,
McBride.
Yeah, you have McBride and obviously Michael Wilson, but like in that wide receiver room, that's the guy that is being targeted there. So I would go, once again, outside of McBride, but I would be going Marvin Harrison Jr. and then seeing what happens with DJ Moore. Like, he had 2 good matchups at Jacksonville and Washington and scored under 6 fantasy points. Those were like, it should be guaranteed over, it feels like 15 points so far, what we've seen throughout the season versus with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to hold out and start Marvin Harrison.
By the way, what's up, Macy and Styles? We got some monitor. What do we call them again?
Moderators.
Sorry, I almost said monitors.
What's happening?
Like, that doesn't sound right. But what's up, guys? Longtime supporters. All right, we got a super chat here from Nick Ademus. What's up, man? He says, play one, sit one, Hunt or Otton. Wow.
For tonight or tomorrow or next week?
I think this is tonight. Obviously, because they're playing each other.
Yeah, they're playing each other. Yeah, look.
This is tough because I feel like whatever we say, he's gonna go with regardless. And feels like we have his matchup in our hands. That's always scary for me. Full PPR.
I would be going Cade Otton here.
It's tough to go Otton, but
I feel like Kareem Hunt is the safer floor.
Hunt is a safer floor. The concern is that Spagnuolo is so good at shutting down your one option.
Yeah, I know. Well, the thing is, they don't have one option. And I said this a couple weeks back when it was, or last week against Brock Bowers when they played the Chiefs. It was really the one option. He had his worst week so far this year, and he still scored double-digit points. But I think this offense is different. They have Baker Mayfield. They have the 2 dual running backs. You have Cade Otton. You may not have your top end wide receivers. They had Jacoby Myers, but I think this offense is a little bit better where I think Otton could get the ball more. So I would be going
124 to 100. Their opponent has Kelsey.
I would go safe floor then. I'm going Kareem Hunt. That's really good context. I say, like, if you were down, maybe like by 15 points or 10 points, maybe I will go Cade Otton there. But I think just to give you that extra buffer, Kelsey could easily score 24 points. But if you had an extra 10 to 12 points that Kareem Hunt, I think we can feel comfortable saying that he might get you. Obviously, anything can happen, but like that's the expectation here. I would go Kareem Hunt then with that context.
It's interesting because Kareem has a safer floor because of the weather. Obviously, pass catchers are going to be hurt in a raining game. Now, we don't know how serious it is. Maybe we should find out that answer. NFL.
I'm watching the pregame. It's not raining right now, but it's a 97% chance of rain. It's obviously the field is wet. A lot of people there with ponchos right now. I'm not listening to the broadcast, but I'm assuming they probably will talk about the weather and how it might intense a little bit later or not intense.
Well, we know Kareem Hunt's going to touch the ball 15 times. You're already up 24 points. I think you put Hunt in there for safety, but it's close, man. My intuition tells me Otton scores more points, but my intuition tells me he's a bigger bust candidate than Kareem just because of the amount of times Kareem will touch the ball and the weather that we're about to see. So, yeah. That's how I would lean, my man. Good luck. That's a tough one. He says he's leaning Hunt too, which is great to see. Jonathan Lee here with the super chat. He says, thoughts on Amari and Kincaid rest of season? I'll be honest, like...
Kincaid, man.
I don't know that I want any pass catcher in Buffalo anymore. When they're all healthy. So Shakir's doing well, but they're not gonna abandon Amari Cooper when he's back and healthy.
No, they're
So
not. I think.
I
Yeah.
don't know that I want anyone here. I think it's Josh Allen, James Cook. I'm out.
Look, out of these two names, I don't know who I would want. I would say Amari Cooper has a higher floor, where Kincaid doesn't have absolutely anything. Doesn't have a safe floor. He doesn't have a high upside. He hasn't shown that this year, which is
He
frustrating.
had 10 targets last week, and it was 7 fantasy points. He had 10 targets in a game where they were competitive, and he had 7 fantasy points.
Do you know Khalil Shakir is a wide receiver 20 right now?
Dude, he's killing it. Yeah, I
that's
faced
crazy.
him in the flock league. I was like, sheesh, can this guy
He
chill out?
he's just a great flex right now for sure. I would want Amari Cooper rest of the season just based off of what I'm hoping his upside is going to be.
Yeah, I don't want.
That's what I would say.
If I had to choose one, it would be probably Kincaid, just because tight ends are so hard to find anyway. But again,
Sure.
I don't really want them. If you can send them away in a deal, which you can't. Honestly, that's the problem. You can't. Nobody wants them either. We appreciate y'all for being here. Here's how the rest of the stream is going to go. If there's any donations on the site, we'll prioritize those questions first. If there are any super chats, we'll prioritize those questions first. Otherwise, we'll just kind of go through your questions and see what we have here. For example, we've got a question here from Dylan who says, is it time to move on from Marvin Harrison and Tank Bigsby? Tank Bigsby, this is kind of what at least what it was my opinion before the game, and yours as well, actually. Like, if Etienne is healthy, they're going to use Etienne and they're going to use Bigsby, and it's a bad offense. So you're really in a situation where, unless there's a clear good matchup, I mean, unless there's a clear good matchup, you kind of just not interested in either of those names. So if you can find a way to send away Bigsby or Etienne in a deal, I would do it. As far as Marvin, I think right now, if I'm a contending team, I'm probably looking at what Marvin costs. And we talked about how bad his matchups are, right? But they get better. For example, Marvin in the playoffs has New England, Carolina, and the Rams. That's not bad. And he has Seattle week 12 after the bye, Minnesota week 13, Seattle again, then again in the playoffs, New England, Carolina, Rams. So if I'm a contending team, I might actually go send an offer for Marvin Harrison and see what it would cost to acquire him.
I think it just depends on. Look, I would say it depends on what you can get from Marvin. I'm somebody that's willing to say, okay, what is somebody willing to pay me right now? Somebody willing to sell somebody else high for Marvin. Once again, I like to use Fantasy Pros. Is this accurate? Probably not. But rest of the season's rankings. The reason why I like to use Fantasy Pros because a lot of my home league friends use Fantasy Pros rest of season rankings. 3 players above and below: Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Jaden Reed. I want all 3 of those guys over Marvin Harrison Jr.
Would you sell high on JSN to get Marvin?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because you see how good JSN can be if they feature him, but they don't really feature him when DK's healthy.
They don't. What 3 names underneath: Deebo Samuel, T. Higgins, Chris Olave. I'll be with those Zay Flowers in there. That's the 4th player underneath him. Yeah. So Zay Flowers, who's a wide receiver 9 right now, technically, according to Fantasy Pros, they would rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. rest of the season over Zay Flowers, over Chris Olave, over T. Higgins, over Deebo Samuel.
We haven't really talked about Chris Olave. I mean, I talked about him on the video yesterday, but do you think I think he's out multiple weeks. Some people have talked about IR. I don't know that he goes on IR, but I mean, it's possible because he went to the hospital. I mean, it was pretty serious.
He went to the hospital and then was back with the team before the game ended.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So what's your take on it then? What do you think?
My take is this is 2-3 concussions. I think in the span in the first 9 weeks of the season. Is it 3 concussions or 2 concussions?
2 concussions, but 5 documented, I think, in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's not good. I think he needs to take some time, and I don't know about IR, but I think he'll at least miss 2 to 3 games, kind of like Malik Neighbors. Malik missed 2 games. That was probably his first concussion, so those symptoms were a little bit difficult for him.
When you look at Chris's schedule, so he has Atlanta this week. But by the way, Chris Olave was probably about to help people make the playoffs. Like, he had such a strong schedule ahead of him with the Panthers this week. Of course, that didn't work out. The Falcons were next, and the Browns. But he has a bye in week 12. I kind of feel like they're going to hold him out 3 games. I kind of feel like Atlanta, Cleveland, and then they'll let him go through the bye and bring him back.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, and I think that's exactly what's going to be happening when it comes on to Chris Olave. So
to get a super chat from Michael, but no question attached to it, and I don't see another question.
I don't see one either
in the chat. Appreciate you, Michael, but yeah, don't see any question attached to it. All right, let's just answer some questions at random here. And maybe we'll go live until about 30 minutes past the hour. But first question at random here is from Fatal King, who says, can I fully trust Tyrone Tracy after week 9? And did I win trading a second for him? Second's pretty good value. I wouldn't sell him for less than a second in Dynasty. And here's what I'll say, like, he has a very good matchup this week versus the Carolina Panthers. It is in Germany, Deutschland, but I'm very excited to play Tyrone Tracy this week if you have him. Like, versus the Panthers, he'll be a top 15 to 16 running back for me in my rankings this week. He is the clear dominant running back in your backfield. Singletary is they've made it very obvious he is the spell back.
Yeah, no question. I think he's definitely won this job. And obviously this looks like this is a dynasty league, so you traded a second for him, which I think is a good move if you're just thinking about the future of the Giants. Maybe they get a new quarterback, or they get a different quarterback. I doubt Danny Jones will be the quarterback next year. And if they don't draft a running back, then you're kind of chilling for the foreseeable future.
That's probably the concern for most people, because the running back class is so good.
It's so good that I wouldn't be surprised if they also bring in somebody. But once again, I think you are chilling right now. So I agree. I like Tyrone Tracy going into this week.
Yeah. All right. We did get a question through the site, so let's have a look at that.
All right. Let's see.
Oh wow, we got a couple messages through the site. My bad, guys. Oh, these were only about 2 minutes ago. Okay, cool. All right. So, first one's a super message from Daniel. He says, need big upside the next couple weeks. Knicks versus May versus Stafford versus Russell. To be honest, all of these players are going to be week by week. I couldn't sit here and tell you that I have confidence in one of these names over the other every week. It will definitely depend on matchup. I'd say May and Knicks are like the highest upside names there as far as what they can do on the ground. And yeah, it's going to come week by week. For example, this week, let me pull up the schedule. We've got the Patriots facing the Bears.
Yeah.
Probably not excited to start him there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same. Like, that's a tough matchup here. Knicks versus the Chiefs next week. Who the Rams play? The Dolphins. The Rams play the Dolphins on Monday night, and the Steelers play the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not excited about any of these guys this week.
I would just say, the best thing I could do for you, Daniel, before any context going into this week, is just order these guys right now that I see before I haven't even done my quarterback rankings for week 10.
Let's just do rest of season rankings. Rest of season, not week 10.
Rest of season. Knicks, May, Stafford, Russell. Actually, in that order.
I would actually go May, Knicks, but they're in the same tier, and then Stafford, Russell, again in the same tier. But again, week by week, I would say this week, I think May is the one I would just throw out there. I know it's Chicago, but I mean, it's just the most exciting name.
Yeah, I get it.
L Jet says it's a trade question. They say about to be 6-3 after this week. Is this a solid trade? By the way, guys, if you want to prioritize your question, definitely check out our website. But we'll do our best to answer as many as we can today. L Jet says about to be 6-3 after this week. Is it a solid trade? I don't like this trade at all. I mean, I'm not sure if we redid fantasy drafts if Cooper Kupp's going behind Gibbs or if they're very far apart in rest of season rankings. I'm not a fan of this at all, personally.
Yeah,
I'll keep
especially
the Cooper Kupp side.
especially in a smaller league, one quarterback, 12 teams start 7. You have Cooper Kupp, who's already back. Nico Collins hopefully does come back. You have DK and Drake May, obviously both struggling with injuries. But your running back, obviously, you were probably also struggling. I don't know if you were starting Breece Hall and Tyler Algier because Chris McCaffrey's not there. But I don't think you should. Or obviously, you were starting Tyrone Tracy. Duh. You were starting Tyrone Tracy and Breece Hall on a week-to-week basis. I think having Cooper Kupp when he comes back is going to be significant. So you start Nico Collins, excuse me. So you start Nico, Cooper Kupp, then Breece Hall and CMC. I think this is a great lineup that I don't think you should be moving here, and especially going to be 6-3. You have the room to wait for Nico. You have the room to wait for CMC.
I understand why they'd want to do this because they can only start 3 wide receivers on a week-to-week basis, right? So between Nico, DK, and London, when everyone's healthy, that's probably, good enough. But I mean, you're gonna have McCaffrey and Breece Hall, so I don't mind doing this deal if it's straight up. I'm not going to include Tyrone Tracy, though.
Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't seem like a smart move, in my opinion. So, overall, I don't mind it, but my counter would be straight up. I'm not going to give you Tyrone Tracy as well. And I'm definitely not going to sell Tyrone Tracy before he plays the Panthers.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's my my opinion there. And if you want to sell Tyrone and upgrade, I think next week you can use Tyrone and Cooper Kupp and get an even better running back after he plays the Panthers.
Cause you got a call on Tyrone.
Daniel, go ahead. Daniel has a message for you.
Jackie, please read this out loud. Hunt will dominate. No, he will not. No, he will not.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it, bro.
Look, I would just say this. It's raining really hard.
Is it?
That's all I'm saying.
I haven't watched much of the
No, it's not. It was raining. It's raining. It was raining hard and then it stopped. But you can see it's drizzling outside right now. They have a little close up on Travis Kelce. Yeah. And now they have a close up on Kareem. Hey, Kareem, just not today. All right, look at me. Look at me. Not today, Kareem. He's shaking his head. He's shaking his head up and down. He said, okay.
You're frozen.
My camera got messed up. Yeah, I just thought.
That's not from my end, by the way. That's from
that's probably on me.
But as long as Kareem Hunt gets 8 points, I'm good. If you get 8 points, Kareem, I'm happy with you, man. So yeah, we'll see, Daniel. Anything's possible, I guess. Let me hit refresh and make sure we're good to go. Okay, cool.
I'm back. I hit my PC.
We have a super chat on YouTube from Big Mac Brad. He says, at 7-2, I have Olave, Waddle, DJ Moore. How much should I be panicking with those 3? Still have Amon-Ra, Brian, Saquon, and JT. So it's a great, great team. DJ Moore is, you know what? Like, I definitely, here's what I'll say. If Olave is healthy, I'm not actually concerned about him rest of the season. It's just if he's healthy and playing. Really, that's it. If he's playing, I feel like you can start him any week he plays. But with Waddle, the Dolphins' offense is so... Dude. I actually hate it now. It was so fun to watch last year because it wasn't just completely Devon Achane. Everyone got a piece of this pie. And it's like the entire offense is Devon Achane. And you're looking at one of the biggest Devon Achane truthers coming out of Texas A&M. I mean, I freaking love the guy. I get it. He's so dynamic, so explosive. But good God, can we... This is so boring to watch. Every play is like a sweet pass to Devon Achane. It's so boring, man.
Why? I mean, maybe there's underlying issues. Maybe, they're not using Tyreek and Waddle the way because of injuries. But Devon out-targeted, had more receptions and targets in total than Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Waddle got a target, if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. That was his 2 targets.
Yeah, and they were down in the game, and it was a competitive game. It was a neutral game script. I honestly, I want to throw up watching the Miami Dolphins offense right now. And that is so such a weird thing to say because they were the best offense in the NFL last year. I I just refuse to believe that this is what it's going to look like rest of season. There's no way Tyreek's going to be that limited. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And they play the Rams next week. Obviously, you saw what Jackson Smith and Jigba just did, or technically in week 10 this week, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And yeah, I don't know. But I don't think Devon should be this main thing, the main focus at all.
I'm fine if he is, but not to the point where he's your leading receiver. That's
exactly
that's
not to the point when he's like that. That's what's frustrating. That's what I mean. Like, I think he can be the main guy in the backfield, but like don't be out targeting both Waddle and Tyreek combined.
Like you'll see Achane just rolling out, sweeping out to the right or left, and it's like, okay, here comes the target.
Yeah.
And you know what? God, like, respect, because he always turns it into a first down. Like, that's what's so annoying about it. Like, the guy is just so good. Anyway, Waddle's the one I'm most worried about, and DJ Moore. Again, if Olave's healthy, I think you can start him each and every week. But with Waddle and DJ Moore, the offense is really not favoring them at all anymore.
No,
and DJ is
not at all.
DJ's not a priority in this offense. He is an option. As crazy as that sounds, he's just as much of an option as Keenan Allen. You basically drafted Keenan Allen this year.
I agree. According to Fantasy Pros, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver 30. Players Fantasy Pros would rather have over Jalen Waddle: Tank Dell, Josh Downs, Mike Evans.
I'd rather have all those names.
George Pickens.
I'd rather have Pickens.
The three players underneath Waddle: Deontay Johnson, Darnell Mooney, and technically Jameson Williams, but Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey or Darnell Mooney? Ladd McConkey or Jalen Waddle? Sorry.
I'll go Ladd there. I know he's the number one. And I know Johnson had a good game this week, but he was still very clearly splitting both targets, snaps, routes run with Josh Palmer. Ladd McConkey's a clear number one there in LA, so at least I know that when I'm trading for him.
Yeah, good to know.
DJ Moore, yeah.
DJ Moore,
his playoff schedule is so good, but I brought him on the video last week, and what I said on that video was, hey, be aware, if you're trading for DJ Moore, you are no longer trading for even a wide receiver 2. You're trading for a flex. Like that's how you have to do it. You know what I mean? You have to trade for him and be fully aware that you're trading for a flex option. This is not someone that you're relying as your wide receiver 2. So lower your expectations. He's this fun upside for the playoffs.
Wilson out of that guy.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah, I'm loving it right now. But yeah, appreciate you. I think Michael, who donated earlier, finally put his question in the chat, potentially a bit higher.
And by the way, like just quickly to wrap the bow on this, he said, should I be panicking with those three? Like, we talked about all the names you'd rather have over Waddle and DJ Moore. So if you can make a trade for those guys, we would be open to it. Otherwise, I think you hold at this point, and you need a good game before you can make some movement with those names. But go ahead.
Yeah. Agreed. Michael, thank you so much for that super chat. He says, with Metcalf out, I need one wide receiver, one flex out of these. Mostert, Tober, and Coker. I'm 7-1 in a PPR $100 league. I think Raheem was doing well until he fumbled the ball. And then Jaden Daniels put him in the biggest timeout ever. Or not Jaden Daniels, McDaniel put him in the biggest timeout ever. I'm going Coker. That's where I'm going out of these guys. Playing my Giants, Deontay Banks is shit. They will score, and they will make big plays.
I need to know if Adam Thielen plays, because I don't know that I want to. They can't. Give me a second. This is fun. I love when my computer does this. Super cool. Come on. All right. Now you're frozen, by the way. I don't know if they can hear you. Let me just answer this question. I'm waiting for my mouse to revive itself. Currently, technology's so cool. Oh my gosh. Look, here's what I'll say. I like Coker, but if oh really? I thought he was close to coming back from the IR. Okay. Let me make sure people can hear you
while you're talking.
Yeah. Okay, they should be able to hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically, I was
Okay.
telling Zach, I was like, Adam Thielen, his status according to Sleeper, when you go on Sleeper in his profile, saying that his status is up in the air, not sure if he will play. Plus, they play in Germany, which means they have to travel. Whatever he's dealing with, going on the plane with those injuries
Could be
probably is not
traded,
the
too.
best. And exactly, he could be traded, and he has a bye week in week 11. So they might just hold him out for that extra week anyway. So I would go Coker here. Honestly, I want to lose this game because that just puts us in a better position to be in a top 5, top 6 pick,
Yeah.
which is a problem. And I mean, going on a little rant here, Raiders are 2-7, Saints are 2-7. Raiders just fired their whole people. Raiders just fired their coach.
Saints, yeah.
Saints, sorry, just fired their coach. So like, I think one of those two teams are going to get a quarterback, which is a problem for the Giants if we win this game. And shit, even the Browns can get a quarterback because Deshaun Watson tore his ACL, or I don't know. Anyways, a little rant there as a Giants fan, but yeah, I will start him.
I'm gonna lean Tolbert still. I do like Coker, but I just think that the Eagles are gonna be up in this game. I know it'd be a backup quarterback, but unless Brandon Cooks is back out there, I trust him a little bit more in that offense, and we've seen more from Tolbert to trust.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, I think those are all the super chats as of right now. Let me double check. Michael says, I'm a Giants fan. He says, hating what Barkley is doing.
Yeah, look,
It's got to be tough for you guys right now watching that.
it just makes
probably
sense not to pay him.
the coolest hurdle in NFL history,
Yeah,
and that's the guy
I would
that
just say,
you let go.
I would just say as a Giants fan, Michael, it probably wasn't the best business move. Like we gave up our best player, but like he's not going to help us take our team to the next level. Like,
Yeah,
respectfully.
you didn't have the team around him to.
Exactly,
to
and we didn't have the
matter
team
much.
exactly, and it's just like I wanted to keep Saquon so bad and figure it out, but
Yeah.
we just would have been in like, sure, we play Saquon, we have Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is still shit.
Yeah.
The offense is still bad. Anyways, continue.
Well, we did just get a question through the site. If you guys want to prioritize your question, you definitely can with the website. It's the pinned comment in the chat, and it's also in there for you now. But this is from Bargle. He says, looking to upgrade for the playoffs. It's a one quarterback 12 team start 7. They would send away Leggett and Kincaid for Njoku. Personally, I'm fine with this to get Njoku. I'm actually completely happy with this. I do think he's an upgrade over Kincaid. And
I completely agree.
a Leggett is a fun story. I just don't know how much consistency there will be right now given the surrounding offense.
Yeah, and I agree. I would want David Njoku. I think if he feels like the top 2 targets in that offense now that Tillman's there, or emerging, and I like Leggett as well, but I'd rather have Njoku in that offense.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take Njoku here. We're on the same page, which is good to see. I don't think there's any other questions through the site. Let me just refresh. I think we should be good to go back to YouTube. But again, if you guys have any questions, you can pop them through there. All right. What we'll do is we said we'd be live till 30 minutes past the hour. Why don't we answer 5 more questions at random just for fun to show some love to the community, and we'll call it a day and get ready for this game. All right. Kevin says, are we selling high on JSN? If so, who are we targeting at running back wide receiver for weeks 14 to 17 of the playoffs? I am going to prepare a video for you guys again this week of trade targets, and it's going to be a primary focus on playoff matchups and players that I like and I think are reliable. I can't tell you exactly right now. I think Jaden Reed comes to mind instantly. If that's possible, I would do that kind of in a heartbeat.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna look at my notes from last week's video and see if any other names kind of stood out to me based off of matchups in the
based off matchups and stuff. Look, based off matchups, obviously Zach is really great with that information. I could probably say players that you might like may not be matchup worthy, but once again, I like to use Fantasy Pros because that's where a lot of people like to result to. I think of Jackson Smith and Jigba or George Pickens.
Yeah, I'll take Pickens there.
I think of Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I think of Zay Flowers. I'm not sure after that huge game and 2 back-to-back games.
You're not going to be able to get him.
Jackson Smith and Jigba or Chris Olave if you feel like he's going to be okay during the playoffs.
If I knew I was going to make the playoffs and I knew he was going to be back in week 12, I would take Olave.
What about Deebo Samuel, who hasn't had the best couple of weeks?
I would take Deebo in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be an easy one.
What about Devontae Adams?
I'll take Adams.
What about Jackson? Let's go a little bit lower then. Obviously, Mike Evans, we would go.
I love JSN. Obviously, bought the guy's jersey. But as someone who was very invested in that offense, watching it every week and the way they're using JSN without DK is like, why don't you do this when DK's on the field? Why don't you stretch the field vertically with JSN? Clearly, he's great at doing it, but they just don't. They put him in this little like boring role. They almost use him as like a tight end at times. It's crazy how boring it is. But so I just feel like when DK's back, it's going to be a spot start every week. So,
what about some running backs here, really quick? I'll give you 3 running backs: Jackson Smith, Jigba, or J.K. Dobbins.
I think that's even if you need a running back.
What about Tyrone Tracy?
I would take Tyrone.
Is that a bit too low?
I would take Tyrone.
Chase Brown?
You know what? I would go Chase there because Zach Moss is pretty much out indefinitely. I mean, that sounds like a long time with his neck. And we have last time I remember an out indefinitely for a neck injury. Do you remember who that was last time that happened? Last time I remember that was Chris Carson, and he ended his career.
Yes. Oh boy, Missy Chris Carson.
He was fun.
But yeah, those are a couple names. Obviously we can go longer. Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris. Hell, Bucky Irving. I don't know if you want to say anything about those guys, but yeah, I mean, it's really
I'm not
depends.
really in love with those names. If Bucky has another good game today, I think I would be more like if we see what we saw last week again this week with those running backs. I think I'd be more interested.
Okay.
But yeah, Kevin says he met Jason at the draft and loved him. I love him too, man. And I agree. I agree with everything he's saying. All right, that's question 1 out of 5 at random. Question 2 out of 5 is from Richard Soto, and he says, do I trade CD or not? And you know what? I'm totally open to doing that, but it depends on what you get back in return. I mean, I still think CD is going to be safe. This isn't like to me, this isn't like a Tyreek without Tua situation. I do think a backup is going to be more competent there. But looking at rest of season rankings, if you can trade CD for an AJ Brown, are you doing it?
Yep.
How about Amon-Ra?
Yes.
How about Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
How about Tyreek Hill?
If I can wait another week, I would have to see what Tyreek does. If there's 3 weeks with Tyreek doing this,
you gotta decide now.
I would say no since I'm hesitant right now.
All right, I would take Tyreek still. I would take Nico Collins.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Nico Collins. Well, I mean, Drake London.
Well, this is where I think I start to get a little confused. Is between names like Neighbors, Puka, London.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Terry. That's crazy to say, but yeah, that's kind of where I stand at the moment. All right, that's question 2 out of 5 at random. Let's pick our third question here at random. John Beck says, "Is Etienne gonna get traded?" I hope so. I hope for Etienne's sake. I hope for Bigsby's sake. I hope for everyone in that situation's sake.
I mean, look, it might be clear that Etienne is not healthy, but 3 touches on the ground. It's like,
he had the targets
okay,
in the air. Yeah, it was weird. They were down most of that game.
They were.
So
It
they
was
didn't
like,
really rush the ball much at all.
nah. It's like they just abandoned the run from the rip. It felt like.
Yeah, Bigsby had 8 carries, 8 touches. Etienne had 3 carries, 6 touches in total. What's weird is the game script was so negative. Wild. You thought Etienne would play more. I mean, Dearness Johnson even got in there. It's like, guys, can we please stop making this a thing?
What's going on here? Do we need to talk to somebody?
24% of the snaps.
I mean,
I'd love to get him traded. Who would he get traded to, though? I mean, let's think about teams that are contenders. I mean, I know we love Zach Moss, but it'd be pretty cool to see him in Cincinnati. Where else?
I think of. It sounds crazy. The Broncos.
I'd hate that. That's where running backs have to die.
I know they have Javonte Williams right now. Obviously,
Chiefs would be great if Pacheco doesn't come back.
The Cowboys aren't contending, but the Cowboys now.
I just don't. I mean, that would make sense. That would definitely give them some life. I'd be really excited about that for fantasy.
That's kind of what I see there. I like the Broncos. I think that's kind of hot.
There's not a lot of great teams out there who need to target a running back, actually.
Unless the Commanders and you do 1-2 punch.
I've already got that with Eckler, though.
You already have that with Eckler too. That's so true. I was gonna say the Steelers too, but they also have the 1-2 punch. But Warren has been utilized like that though. Yeah. Not this year.
Well,
but
that's because he was injured.
To be fair, yeah.
Eckler last week was fun to watch. Got the touchdown. Had 4 targets in the air, 41 yards. He'd be a must start every week if B-Rob ever had a serious injury. All right, that's question 3 out of 5. Let's go to question 4 out of 5. Let's see. Let's do Wahab here. It says, do I start Eckler, Javonte, or Etienne this week? Man.
Well, if B-Rob doesn't play.
Yeah, if B-Rob doesn't play, it's Eckler for sure.
I think it has to be. I just think it has to be if Brian Robinson plays. I think for me it has to be Javonte. I can't be starting Travis Etienne, who just had 3 touches on the ground the week prior.
But do you want to start Javonte versus the Chiefs?
Javonte at least getting targets in the air. I mean, I guess so is Etienne.
He also just had a season low, or one of his lowest snap shares of the week of the year.
Yeah. To be fair, they were down early.
Involved, which
they were down early. That's what I don't get.
Because Javonte is the guy who's getting a bunch of targets in this offense. Why wasn't he used more? But anyway, I think I'm gonna go roll with Eckler. Just put him out there, fuck it, see what he does. Like, it's not fun. Was that 4? That was 4 out of 5, right?
That was 4 out of 5. Last one here.
Last one here for the day. Let's go to John Beck. Need 2 of Flowers, Smith, Mooney, and Downs for this week. What do we think? Receiver room ain't doing well right now. Got to start Flowers. And you can't sit Devonta Smith, I don't think, with no AJ Brown. Smith. So it'd be those 2.
Yeah.
You know what? Downs was disappointing, but to be honest, everything was there for a good game. I mean, if you look at the target share. All right, so Downs had 8 targets. He had a 32% target share. Just didn't work out. The matchup was there. The targets were there. 8 targets. I mean, Pittman had 4. He doubled Pittman's targets. Just wasn't there, man. It was frustrating. but
I agree.
I still think
Very
it's going to be a
frustrating.
great start. But that's it for today, guys. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys here soon. Waiver video is already out if you want to go watch that before the game starts tonight. And also the start sits at running back and wide receiver will be up tomorrow. So I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. All love.